So this is Prentice's Hall edition of Pre-Algebra, California edition, and yeah, we're just gonna be learning about the basics of basically math that you'll be using all throughout like middle school or high school, all throughout high school and college. Basically, this is what you're gonna be using. This is the fundamentals. Alright, so we're starting with section 1-1, and we'll be learning the difference between variables, expressions, and numerical expressions. First, what the heck is a variable? A variable can be anything. A variable, right here, this is the variable, boom, this guy, it can be anything. As I said before, A could be equal to apples. Number of apples. Right? Like, crazy. And then x could just be equal to 4. Doesn't need, like, the number of, like, I don't know. Yeah, x can be equal to 4. And then numerical, obviously, it's just going to be, like, 2 or 3. Like, those are numbers, so obviously numerical expressions are just going to have numbers. So, we're looking down, and we look at c minus 5. C is a variable, because it's not a number. So a variable can be anything. So not a number, c minus 5. So obviously it's a variable expression. 50 minus 5. I don't see a variable in that. I can solve that. 50 minus 5 equals 45. I can solve it. I know that I know every single. I know 50 and I know 5, so I know that's 45. So obviously, this seems pretty easy whenever you see a variable in an expression. It's going to be a variable expression. Whenever you see no variables and just numbers, it's going to be a numerical expression. Alright, the next we're going to talk about is trigger words. You might be wondering yourself, what the heck is a trigger word? A trigger word is basically a word that right when you see it, you know exactly what to do. So it's like a split-second decision. Like, oh, I know that when I see total, I'm going to be adding 2 numbers. So I kind of listed them all out. And total and more than are going to be addition when you see that in like a sentence. And like when you see the total of 2 numbers, it's going to be addition. Difference, fewer than and less than, is going to be subtraction. And then product, when you see the word product and times, it's going to be multiplication. So like 5 times 2, which is 10. And then quotient, let me just move this over. Quotient is going to be division, and it's going to be also like divided by, so like 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. But what is significant to know is that the words in red, so total and product, it doesn't matter how you do it. You can do 5 times 2 or 2 times 5. You're still going to get the same answer. But it's going to be a very big difference if you do, let's say, 3 minus 50 or 50 minus 3. 3 minus 50 is obviously going to be in the negatives because you're subtracting 50 from 3. But if you do 50 minus 3, it's going to be positive, you know? So you always have to be conscious of whether it's going to be which way the sentence is setting up. Same with quotient, so you're going to be like 10 divided by 5 is way different from 5 divided by 10, because 10 divided by 5 is 2, but 5 divided by 10 is going to be 1/2. So always be conscious of what way the sentence is kind of laying out. Alright, so I think now we're going to be doing some practice problems. So let's scooch on down for some practice problems. Everything you've learned, I hope, has been simple for you, and we can now go on to some bigger and better things. Alright, let's just start with number 10. So it says, what is it a numerical expression or a variable expression? So the question is obviously 14 times 14. Let me ask you, do you see a variable in there? Do you see an A or B or anything in that? No. You can solve that. So obviously it's going to be a numerical. Actually, scratch that. You can see the problems. So let's just write down the answers. Numerical. Bear with me. My handwriting's bad. But I hope you guys are understanding the concepts. And that my handwriting is just a formality. Or technicality, or however you want to say it. Alright, so that's a numerical expression. I'm going to say EXP. 13, which is 100 times x. Now I have to think. Do we see a variable in this expression? I think we do. X is an expression, or x is a variable. So that's going to be a variable. Expression. Alright, 17. Okay, so 8 less than z. So, if we think back up to our trigger words, hopefully you copy these down. It's actually on page 5, the writing math, that little box. You should copy that down in your notebook because you're going to be needing that. Alright, so for like word problems. So, if we look at our trigger words, less than is right here. So, what do you think it's going to be? Obviously, it's going to be subtraction. So, let's scooch back down. Number 17. 8 less than z. So, it's going to be 8 less than z. So, z, then minus 8. Because it's 8 less than that number. And z, we don't know what that number is. So, it's z minus 8. Number 18. N divided by 3. Again, this is one of those type of things where you need to make sure you know what goes first. So let's go back up to our trigger words. Where do you find divided by? Obviously, you find it divided by symbol. So, it's going back down. N divided by 3. Or if you want to go fancy, you go just boom over 3. That also can work because fractions are division. If you didn't know that, that's a good thing to know. Okay, number 20. The sum of 5 and a. The sum, so hopefully you're catching on, looking back up to your trigger words. The sum, okay. I left one out. Okay. Sum, that's one that you don't know. So when the sum of two things, you're going to be adding them together. So, remember that. They trying to be fancy, but when they say the sum of two numbers, that's just going to be, oh god, this is getting bad. But the sum of the two numbers, 5 plus a. Because sum is another trigger word that you're going to be adding two things together. Now, 26. The product of 10 and p. Okay, the product. I hate You guys might think I'm taking too long, but always trigger words. The product, multiplication. What did I just write? Oh, okay. Okay. So 26. The product of 10 and p. So that's 10 times p. Easy, right? Alright, these get a little bit difficult by the end. Okay, so the quotient of 100 divided by z. So let's just think about that. A quotient and divided by. Two trigger words you've heard of. I'm not going to say the answer. You think about it for a sec. Alright? What do you think it is? It's going to be 100 divided by z. They're trying to trick you right here. With all these different types of two different trigger words, you might be like, what are they trying to say? It's just 100 divided by z. So boom. That's not so hard. Alright, so number 30. A number of days in 4 weeks. So you know that there are 7 days in 1 week. And then you know that you have to have times by 4 weeks. So you're just going to do 7 times 4. Which is then equal to 28. So you only need the expression for this one, but I just decided to answer it for you because multiplication is always necessary to review. So then, 31. What would you do? The number of days in W weeks. So you don't know how many weeks it is. So you're just going to write 7 times W. Can't solve this one. You don't know what it is, but you know that you have to write W. God, this stuff. Sorry for my bad handwriting. I hope it will improve soon. Alright, 34. Last one of the practice problems. Number of feet in 100 inches. So let's think about it. How many inches are in a foot? I hope you guys know this. There's 12 inches in a foot. So, when we do it, you do 100 divided by 12. That easy. And that's been the first video of pre-algebra, section 1-1. Signing off. Hope you understand math. Peace.